Porsches are held up as the pinnacle of engineering, luxury, and performance. But today, we have a real Porsche mechanic here to break down what went wrong in these viral videos. First clip.
Brandon's over here working on this 911 Carrera S.
Oh, yeah,
looks like he's got all kinds of stuff taken apart. What are you doing to this thing, Brandon?
Spark plugs and air filters.
Yep.
Is that
so? This intercooler sits in front of all this. There's no way you're going to get to the ignition coils, which obviously you got to pull the ignition coils to get to the spark plugs. That's why all of that's got to be removed. And you can't take that out until you take the rear bumper off. So that's just, you know, what's got to be done, right?
That's right.
okay?
Yeah, that was actually spot on. That's our life every day.
Every single day.
Yep.
For the simplest little things, such as a tune-up.
With Porsche, you need finesse. So that shows it right there. You just need to get everything off, get your hand where you can't see it, and hope for the best.
And they say Subarus are bad. What's supposed to be the cheapest, easiest job, but kind of comes off as the worst thing to do on the car.
I would say an air filter, but
The filter?
well, you know, it depends because we sell services in increments.
Okay.
But spark plugs can be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Spark plugs can be pretty bad. On a 918, those you have to take the whole half of the car apart to get to them. So.
Well, you're not running the 918s every day.
No, it's a rare occasion.
So that's nice. But a normal 911 daily driver, how long does it take to change the air filter?
Well, you got to take the bumper off. So.
Which can be an ordeal.
Yes. So, as you can see in that clip, yeah, it's like that. It's involved.
Ooh, where is the air filter?
It's behind the bumper. Above, there's a crash bumper behind the actual plastic bumper, and it sits right above that.
Put the air filter behind the seat or something. I don't know. Suck up all those farts. Anyway, everybody, this is my buddy Robert here. He's an expert with Porsches. Why don't you tell the people who you are and what you do?
Hi guys, my name's Robert. I work at Porsche Santa Cruz. I've been with Porsche for 12 years. Went to PTAP, did all the certifications, and I'm gold level. So I'm here to share some expertise and figure out what's going on with these fail videos.
All right, cool. Next clip.
So you say you want to be a Porsche tech.
Oh yeah.
Here's some of the stuff you have to do.
You're selling your job.
Here's a 718 Cayman that I had to do a drive belt on.
Oh.
Before you can do that, you have to take all the rear trim out so you can take the rear wall out
Oh.
so you can get to this tiny little hole. Now, I'm only 5'6", and I don't know how anyone
Oh my God.
bigger than me can work on
Do you guys have a resident short guy?
Hunched over.
Yeah, we do.
Put
Actually,
your
a
hands
girl.
in
Ah.
really tight places.
Shout out Boosted Katie.
And just kind of work with whatever the Porsche engineers decide to give you.
I actually take back what I said
usually
about
go
putting the
home.
filter behind the seat.
Cut up all of the
Yeah, this
doesn't
time
look
it's
fun.
the belt.
This doesn't look fun at all.
But you just gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, tight spaces, little
What?
compartments, small holes. There's just no room to work.
The only problem with that I see is he doesn't have a fender cover in the interior.
Oh.
Look,
Hey, with a car that costs that much, you keep the dirt
Yeah.
out of it, you know?
hey, this is somebody's baby. You don't want to be doing that. But hey, shout out to him just to show us what goes on here.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
There's a huge trend right now with people that work at dealerships recording their work.
Yeah.
How does a dealer, do they like encourage that, or do they frown upon it, or is it just something you gotta have permission for, or is it good to save yourself in certain occasions?
Well, you know, that's actually a good question because when I started out back in 2014, it was a no-go.
Oh.
So I fell off and I didn't really care for it. I mainly just focused on work. But now that you say that, there is a lot of people trying to get their TikTok, Instagram reels going. And usually it depends on the dealer principal. So if they're okay with it, then usually they can film, but there's some dealers that are not like that.
But does it slow down like work time at all? Because I know from our experience here, things take a lot longer when you're filming it. So,
Well, believe it or not, Porsche actually makes technicians do multi-point inspection videos, so we have to do that. It's not really that much different.
right.
It gives them a chance to look at it instead of us telling them and see what we see. So it's actually a good tool.
All right, next clip. Man, this trail is tough. And if I don't get to the top of it, the guys are gonna laugh at me.
Fella, why don't you get a grip and use me?
It's Robert the Fun Time Dyno Pro, AT2 Extreme, yeah.
Hi kids, why are you so down?
Hi Robert, the Fun Time Dynapro AT2 Extreme. We want to go off-road, but we don't want to sacrifice on-road comfort.
Well, get a grip and use me.
Wow, Robert, thanks.
Dynapro AT2 Extremes are Hankook's all-terrain tire. We're great on sand, rock, and snow. The specially designed scoops along my shoulders give you stability off-road, and my deep sidewalls protect against cuts and punctures.
Can my tires even make this trip?
Hey Zach, get a grip and use me. Dynapro AT2 Extremes are backed by an up to 70,000 mile treadwear warranty, so you know you can rely on us.
I'm sorry, is this like a pre-established character or something? That's Robert, the Funtime Dynapro AT2 Extreme. He rocks.
If you want a tire that can go the distance, use Hankook Dynapro AT2 Extremes. Click the link below to learn more.
Well, went to go pull this oil filter out, and yeah, now I'm having a bad day.
Well,
having a bad
VR6 oil change. That's what
Tell
that
me,
looks
Porsche,
like.
why is this necessary? To get the oil filter out, you have to ruin everything and pull it back through here.
Oh.
What the f? It doesn't fit through here. And
All
it
right.
doesn't go forward either.
Is he? All right. Yeah.
Porsche's getting here. That's actually a Volkswagen motor.
So, well, yeah. So Porsche and Volkswagen are related, so they interchange some of their parts.
Yes.
So what's going on here? How big is this filter for this small amount of space?
It is pretty big, and what I like to do is put a funnel over the little subframe you see right there, so it kind of gives it a path to go. But yeah, if you're doing it first time, this is how you're gonna learn. Yeah.
Do you guys let the new guy kind of haze himself in with this kind of stuff?
A little bit, yeah. We'll tell him, hey, there's a VR6 oil change you gotta do, and hurry up, customers waiting.
And then listen to the cursing.
Yeah. Usually I walk away at that point.
I know most dealerships have lube techs and then technicians, and lube techs are usually just trying to train to become a technician eventually. Does a Porsche dealership still have a system like that, or is everyone doing everything because it's so complicated?
The beauty with Porsche is you get to work on everything. Granted, you're not going to work on EVs because you need some classifications.
Yeah.
But we're not departmentalized. We have apprentices, and that's usually how they learn. And that's
Old
how
school.
I learned. Yeah, so everyone usually gets a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So
there are certain levels to technicians. You said you were gold certified earlier. So starting from beginner, what's that process like?
So usually there's two processes. We'll hire someone that has experience that worked at another, either dealership, another brand, or independent. They'll come in, we'll train them, and then the first step for certification is bronze. Then the next is silver, and then gold. But there's another way. There's this class from Porsche, the school. It's called PTAP. You're fast track.
You literally start from nothing and then going straight gold.
It's 6 months of Porsche. Just every car that's current.
Do you need to have mechanic experience beforehand, or you could just walk in the door?
Well, yes, you do.
Okay, cool. That's really cool that Porsche still has like an old school way of getting into their business. That's actually kind of sick.
Yeah, it's
a lot of places don't do that. So good for you, Porsche. Let's learn our way into the next clip.
There you go.
Yes, this looks like my Subaru.
2016
Oh,
turbo.
Maybe not.
Oh wow, that's bad.
Did he say 2016?
Like I said, this is a 6-year-old car.
Ooh,
Macan?
Completely rotted out of it.
Ooh.
That's definitely not a
This is something
SoCal
we
car.
see more often on this platform. Not just Macan, Q5 as well.
Yeah.
He's saying this is a fail like it's Porsche's fault, though.
No, this is more environmental right here.
Right.
Yeah. But it's still pretty crazy.
It isn't saying that Steel did that quickly, but that's not really Porsche's fault.
No, that's definitely the environment, maybe Northeast, that you never see here. We're lucky. We have the
Michigan.
Yeah.
That's Wisconsin and Michigan for sure.
Yeah, I would never work on that. I'd probably just walk out that day.
Okay, yeah. So that brings up a question because you're from SoCal. You've been in SoCal your whole life. You've never worked on anything this bad.
Nope.
And you won't.
I won't. I know my limits.
It's so funny because every once in a while we'll get someone here that's from the East Coast.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, whatever. Just patch it weld it. Like, who gives a crap?
No, I have Porsche buddies back east, and they're probably cursing me right now. You bastard.
I know you don't deal with this, but let's say someone did pull up and they insisted on you working on this thing.
Okay.
What's this going to cost?
A lot. How deep are your wallets?
But you're used to pulling everything apart. Just do the spark plugs, right? How hard could it be?
Well, this you need a torch.
Yes. Sandro said, "Hey, if you pay, I'll try." All right, let's flake our way into that next clip.
Worst engine mounts ever. This is a 2015 Porsche Cayenne Turbo, and the customer was complaining that it had a vibration. Well, we found out the vibration was due to engine mounts. Unfortunately, you have to pull the whole engine out to access the engine mounts, but that's not all. The engine mounts are way back there. In order to get to those engine mounts, you have to pull the turbos off. There's one on each side. So how do we know the engine mount is bad? One is you can see that skirt there comes down over top of that hole. Well, a new engine mount looks like this. And you can see how the skirt is just above that hole, like quite a bit. Obviously, you don't have the weight of the engine on there, so it will squish it down a little bit, but it shouldn't be down that far. Another way we're able to diagnose the engine mounts, we had the engine running, we put somebody in the car, put the car up on the lift, we put a jack stand under the engine and lifted it just slightly. And when we lifted it just a little bit, the vibration went away. The whole job of an engine mount is to absorb that vibration. Because it was collapsed, that vibration was being felt throughout the whole car. Porsche, there is no substitute.
More like Volkswagen.
Well, that's actually a Porsche motor.
Oh my God!
Try again. But I do gotta say, for this job, you didn't need to lower the motor or take the engine out. But you know, it never hurts if you got the time to take the motor out and you want to do a thorough job. But you definitely didn't need to do that. But you know, he could have made this video just to show as well. So, you know,
he could have already been working on something else and then noticed those were busted. It was like, I have an idea. But anyway, this looks complicated. It looks crazy. Why?
Because German.
Because German. Yeah. Do these engine mounts go bad a lot? Because this is a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, the way he did it, yeah. But it is common. High mileage Porsches, engine mounts, they do tend to wear out. But it's not end of the world. They're very serviceable. You know, he's obviously not selling it right there, but they're not too bad. And yeah, I mean, every older Porsche usually kind of has that age and wear on it, and it's just normal wear and tear.
All right, let's get on to that next clip.
This car is what happens when you give a wild Japanese man complete control over your vintage Porsche. It's a 1991 Porsche 911 that's been modified by RWB with ultra-wide fenders, a double wing, wheels, and more to create a bespoke masterpiece that looks unlike anything else. This is all at the hands of Akira Nakai, the man behind RWB, who hand cuts the fenders off of only a special era of Porsche 911 and assembles each custom build himself, which he can reportedly do in only 48 hours. But since it's a one-man operation, only a small number of new builds can be made each year, leaving an over 2-year wait list to have your car built by RWB. This one's owned by the Tons of Gas collection, and it came from the Porsche factory in this gorgeous shade of viola blue metallic with a factory white linen interior that makes an incredible spec of this car. And then when you add on the RWB body kit and the seats out of a Porsche 996 GT3, it's without a doubt one of the most audacious and unique Porsches you'll ever see on the road. And from the driver's seat, it feels just as wild, especially with the Akira Nakai's signature on the dashboard, and luckily we have the key, so let's start it up and see what it sounds like.
What's your opinion on modified Porsches?
All right, so this is a hot topic. People either love them or hate them. Porsche is very purist in the way that they have their customers. But with Porsche being blown up with social media after COVID, there's a lot of different takes, and I'm not mad at it. We actually have one at our museum at Porsche Santa Clarita that our owner owns, and you know, it's not
an RWB.
Yeah, RWB, not viola, but I forget what color, but it's definitely purple. But yeah, it's cool. I'm not hating on it. I like it. It's different.
No, it's a hot rod.
Yeah,
like that's kind of the whole point of it, right? It's inspired by racing, but stylized by the street. You know?
And you see something different, and that's what's cool about it.
So you're open to modified Porsches?
Yeah.
Would the dealership work on one if that pulled in?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're going to be doing body work, but we definitely service it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, take it for a rip.
Now, if it had a Honda motor in it.
No. We have a Honda dealership across the street.
You go there. Well, let's speed our way into the next clip. When Robert got here today, I was giving the tour of the office, and the first thing he asked about was my cross-country Subaru. And then the second thing he asked about was the cheapest Porsche 911 ever purchased on the internet, and that is our $800 Porsche that fell off a mountain and is sitting in our parking lot rotting.
The boys have been on the road for 3 days. Let's see what they brought back home with them. Wow.
Whoa.
Oh.
That doesn't look like it works.
This is,
Or ever will.
wow.
A little concerned about the roof there.
Hell no.
So it's a little bent in.
Jimmy, come on. I mean, all holistically, the car's a piece of shit. But there's some parts of it that are like particularly bad. Like right here, you can see where this wheel well, this inner skin is separating from that panel there. You can see on that side it's not like that.
Look at this.
Dude! I'm
I love
Tommy
how
Fitness.
the shock mounts are in front of the motor. where the
Not
motor
as
goes.
bad as the pictures let on.
Everything is
It's bad,
really
dude.
weird.
I'm saying.
It's bad.
Tell me one way this could be worse.
The hood's dented.
Yeah, the hood. Jimmy's right. If the hood was dented, that would be worse because the hood is the only part of that thing that survived and is still straight.
Yeah.
All right. So the backstory is we bought this really cheap air-cooled Porsche. Well, it's not cool by anything anymore, but it was in Texas. Hauled it all the way back to LA, and we actually took it out to air to water and sat it in front of everybody, and people reacted. That's for sure. Magnus Walker took a look at it. Everyone says it has potential if you got the money, and we ain't got it. What do you think?
Yeah, that is going to be monumental. Like, you know.
Well, you said you've worked on stuff like that before.
Okay,
though.
so granted, we had barn finds. None that fell off a cliff.
All right.
So there's a little bit of difference. But
So mechanically bad, body good.
Yes.
This is all bad.
Yes. You know, if you guys are going to do it, it's going to take a village, and you guys have to work on it. And
yes,
it's going to be. Does anyone have a house they can remortgage?
Very
their house?
rich village. If you want to buy it from us, definitely hit us up. Get rid of this stupid thing because it's taking up too much space in the parking lot. Next clip.
Why did Porsche stop making air-cooled engines, even though they defined the 911's legendary sound? The real reason is wild. Most people think Porsche ditched them just for emissions rules, or because liquid cooling is more modern. But while that's partly true, it's not the full story. At first glance, air-cooled engines seemed perfect. They were lightweight, simple, and delivered that iconic howl fans still chase today. Mechanics loved them for their minimal parts, and drivers loved the raw connection to the car. Performance-wise, they were beasts on the track and reliable if treated right. So why get rid of them? The problem wasn't rules, it was physics. Air-cooled engines rely on airflow over the cylinders to shed heat, but that system has limits. At high power or during long drives, some cylinders could run much hotter than others, causing uneven expansion, warping, or even engine failure. But how does liquid cooling help? Well, coolant flows through the engine, absorbs heat from the cylinders, moves to a radiator to cool down, then cycles back, keeping the engine at a stable temperature.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you talk.
That's kind of spot on. You know, the more heat you make, the less power, and you're limited. Emissions was a play in it, and you know, with comes liquid cooling comes more power.
Right.
And so that's pretty spot on. But granted, air cools are pretty badass.
Air cools are really cool, but from what I do know is people don't prefer them. Like if you're going for that classic feel, obviously, then yes, you know, that's something you would do. But yeah, from what I know is most people swap air-cooled Porsches for a newer motor because they're sick of fixing it.
It's kind of crazy to say because that's actually a motor from the beginning of 911, and that was derived from racing. It's actually a Metzger motor. And Metzger motors are known for racing and reliability. So for someone to swap out a Metzger motor for a K20, it's kind of crazy in my aspect. Yeah.
Interesting. I've actually seen Subaru motors get swapped in.
Please don't say that. Really?
Yeah.
I see it for 912s, which is the 4-cylinder version of the
that would make sense. Okay.
But not 911s.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Next clip.
Porsche's biggest
Macan.
mistake. Aluminum bolts all over.
Yep.
What is that?
That he's extracting a aluminum fastener off the valve cover.
Broken bolts, has massive oil leaks. This is a 2016 Cayenne.
Macan or Cayenne? What's the difference?
One's bigger, and
so one's fat and you got a new name.
Yeah.
What does it hold down?
What is it holding down? A valve cover, yeah.
It's a valve cover bolt. And that causes an oil leak because it's not pressuring to seal down?
Yeah, unfortunately, this era, Porsche used a magnesium cover with aluminum bolts and the valve covers as well, and they are known to, break and cause leaks. And we just retrofit them with new updated screws, usually steel, and reseal everything, and usually it's good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were just trying to shave a little bit of weight off for some reason?
Yeah, or that, or cost. I mean,
aluminum is more expensive.
True, but it's, you wonder why. Maybe it's the
they ordered too many. Have been using for
maybe they had some leftover, or there's some metallurgy that works differently. They don't tell us. They just say, "Hey, fix it."
Hey, we're not gonna recall this, so you're gonna be ready for it. Next clip. All right, the Porsche loses cylinder 3 and 4. Me, spark issue. Porsche, no. Haha. Me, compression.
How much? Why? $600?
Nope.
What was that?
Looks like the cam snapped.
Oh, not fun.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's working on a 944.
Well, 944s they're temperamental, aren't they?
Yeah, but if you're on them, they're pretty reliable. The problem with the 944s is you pay 911 prices.
Is that why?
For repairs, yes.
Oh, so repairs.
Not necessarily the car.
See, I remember in the 90s, even when they weren't that old, I saw 944s sitting around.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. As a kid, you start recognizing badges and stuff.
Yeah.
And, I thought it was an RX-7. But then I was like, when I got close, I was riding up on my bike, and I was like, wait, that's a Porsche badge.
Yep.
That doesn't look like a Porsche. As I said, they were always dirty and abandoned looking because, from what I knew, they were just crap. They were the broke man Porsche that sold like crap. Now they're super popular.
Yeah.
They're like crazy popular now.
Yep.
All right, since you're a gold certified Porsche technician, master mechanic man, is it Porsche or Porsche?
It's Porsche.
It's Porsche.
Yeah.
Porsche.
But yeah, it's someone's last name, so if I said your name wrong, it's kind of disrespectful in a way.
It's also someone's first name. She's probably a stripper. If you got a really expensive car that's broken, go see your man here. He's gold tier certified. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go check out all the other videos here at RMS. Bye-bye.